Well, something... Well, actually, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about sequels. Let's put them in this order. Spider-Verse 2. I couldn't be bothered to type out the whole thing. Spider-Man and Into the Spider-Verse Part 2. Well, it's not called Part 2, is it? It's called something else. But basically, Spider-Verse 2.
I call it we were just chock full of Spiderman.
I still like, what's his name? I think it's in Family Guy where he pronounced it Spiderman.
Spiderman. Phil
Alan Spiderman. But I must admit, I haven't seen it. Oh, no, I have seen this trailer. I do apologise. I saw the first one that came out because this one's a redo. But the first movie was good. And again, they've kind of teased this in the second one. But again, it's just kind of...
Yeah, I mentioned, I think we talked about earlier, but I mentioned, it's like, okay, the first one you had five different Spider. You had Gwen, you had the neo-noir, you had the pig Spider-Man.
The pig one.
You had the
noir Spider-Man, and
yeah, down his dumps, Peter Parker, and then you had the anime robot, the girl with the robot spider or whatever, and then you had Miles Morales. So 6 Spider-Men, 7 if you count Peter Parker at the beginning who died. And that was, they were different enough. They kind of had an ensemble thing going on. It was fine, and it made it work. And the lesson they seem to get to that's like, well, if they like 7 Spider-Man, how about 7 million Spider-Man? No. That's all I can say.
Again,
like, oh God.
From there, where can you go? If they're going to do a third one, where can you go? You can always dial up stuff in a sequel, but you can never dial it down again. And I mean, this was kind of the problem with Quantumania. Quantumania was kind of the launch of the Phase 5. Sure, they're probably going to dial it up, but you can't dial it down anymore. They're just going to get bigger and better, and that's not the right expression. Are they just going to get bigger? With these things,
I remember they did one multiverse. Well, I mean, they did the mirror universe in Star Trek, but they also did one real multiverse episode in Star Trek where it was called Parallels, where Worf kept bouncing through universes because he went through some quantum space BS, and then he was
quantum in front of anything, it explains it.
Yeah, and then when he got too close to Geordi's visor, then he would shift universes because.
Oh, okay.
Sure, why not?
Reasons.
Reasons, it reminds me, it's
somehow.
like my power ring only works on everything except for wood. What? So, but okay, so then they had like 8 million enterprises all appear because the barriers between realms were breaking down, and they had to build it all back up and get Worf to his proper universe again. And they showed different versions of what happened in these universes. Like there was a Borg universe where the Enterprise was the only one left, and they just didn't want to go back because the Borg were everywhere. One where Picard died.
I want to go back to ours. We want to go back to the one with the hot naked women on the planet.
They basically were like, he had this huge beard. He's like, I want to go back. And they like fire, boom, blew him up. Mercy killed him right there. But it's like, okay, you can kind of do a one-off like that, and then it's just kind of a cool science fiction story, and that's it. But when you build up your entire Phase 4, you build up the Spider-Verse, where you build up the whole thing around 8 million Spider-Men, then why is Miles Morales special compared to everybody else? There's 8 million Miles Moraleses out there if you really got to take it to its logical conclusion. So it's like, Now I don't care. Like when you had 5, it was kind of like, oh, that's a fun little thing. But now I'd like to see Miles Morales just doing some street level stuff. Just doing just have his own villain that he's got to deal with, and that's it. Just a little nice little.
I mean,
what's wrong with that?
1 or 2 villains, yeah. But like that, I mean, again, that was kind of what went wrong with Ant-Man. Both the Ant-Mans were kind of set in this kind of small scale of what happened to him, and then all of a sudden it ended up in this whole other universe where he's fighting this ultra god and everything else, and it's just kind of like, oh really? I mean, the first 2 I had a vested interest in. The first one was more of a heist movie, and it was just him against Darren and trying to steal the yellow jacket, and it was all nice and compact and it worked really well. But then they had to sort of like go and make it epic, and like I say, with Spider-Man, don't get me wrong, Spider-Man's great and we love him, but again, just having him as your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man who's having a fight, like I say, just 1, maybe 2 bad guys, like the original Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire. Brilliant.
One of the best, and I actually have the original 2 issues. One of the best Spider-Man stories I ever read was the Juggernaut was sent to get Madam Web, who is this psychic old lady that's stuck in a life support chair. She could do psychic stuff, but she could never leave her life support chair. But some I don't know. His partner sends him to go get her so they can use her psychic powers, commit crimes. And so she reaches out to Spider-Man, and he's doing his best to stop the Juggernaut, and he just can't. I mean, it's the Juggernaut, right? And that's it. That's the whole 2 issues of him trying to stop the Juggernaut. And then when the Juggernaut gets there and he picks her up, she passes out. He's like, well, she's no good to me. And he's like, oh, you piece of shit. So he gets her to the hospital. And then the second is him trying to stop him. And he finally figures out a way to stop him because he covers his eye holes on his helmet.
Right.
And the guy's just pounding him and walking and pounding him. He doesn't realize where he's walking. He walks into a wet cement foundation of a skyscraper. It sinks down. And it's like, how's he going to get out of there? Because until it hardens. He's
got to get up speed, doesn't he? To run.
He has all this power, but if he's just in sludge, it's not going to really do much, So he's stuck for... And he will get out. Once it hardens, he will get out. Everybody knows that. But it's like... That was a very small, intimate Spider-Man story that is one of the most well-remembered great Spider-Man stories. It's not up there with like Kraven's Last Hunt or something, but it's something that people remember.
It's a good one.
It's a very, very good one. And it's like, just do something like that. But no, we got to have 8 million Spider-Man running around, and it's okay, whatever.
And like you say, there's kind of no consequences to it because it's kind of like if Miles does die, it's fine. We've got another spare. Quite a few of them actually.
Yeah.
If you go down that bar, there's about 40 you can just put your hand on, sort of thing.
The Council of Spider-Mans, and you do have
exactly.
You do have the little Jewish guy with no powers. Like, hello, I'm Phil Spiderman.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but it's nice to be here.
Yes. Would you like some locks?
Yeah.
Thank you for watching this excerpt from Outpost Frequencies. Tune in live every Sunday at noon Central Time or 6 o'clock UK time. And also, remember to come to lastmovieoutpost.com for all your latest in movie news, streaming news, and everything cool about film. We are the cool news now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next stream.